Good morning, good morning, good morning. Time check it is 7:30 this beautiful Monday morning, 15th June 2026. We are smack in the middle of the month. Should be a month thing, yeah. We're smack in the middle of the month. And yeah, this is Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. My name is Fumi Bangala. This is the Daily News Review program where we run through the headlines and then we tackle the ones that have caught our eye this morning. How are you? Hope you're well. How was your weekend? I'm trying to see how my weekend was. It was Democracy Day on Friday. How did you spend the holiday? Was it a well deserved holiday? We were just like, whoa, can you rather. Like, also, what's the point of all these holidays? Um, for all working. So yeah, essential services. But toward the end of the day, I went to hang out with my cousins, and that was good. That was really, really good. My big cousin, you know, gave us a good time, and that was good. Family is really, 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 really important, and it is like if you don't. How do I explain this? Family is important and is necessary, right? To make sure that you keep your family unit together, whether it's your extended family. You don't get to choose your family, right? So if hopefully you get along with the members of your family, and if you do, hold them tightly, hold them closely. I always say excuse me, that community is very, very important. Family is very, very important. So if you have good ones, please hold on tightly to them. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us on the go via our website www.wfm917.com. The phone lines will be open shortly, but in the meantime, you can send text messages to 0703 or 08155 917 917. You're sending text messages, you're sending voice notes, you're sending WhatsApp messages. Those are the numbers to do that. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Let's get into it this morning. Starting off with the Punch newspaper as per usual. Nigerians, others buy $3.1 billion airtime on credit. We call them. I thought maybe airtime would have reduced, being that we have WhatsApp, and WhatsApp it's also a calling app. I thought that was going to happen, but who are you people calling? Who are you people calling? Anyway, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Living beside death, Ogun residents battle toxic dump site killer road. That one that we have even in Lagos, when you're entering Lagos at Ojota. To be honest, I don't like, it's just somehow that as you are entering Lagos, that's the thing that hits you. The smell hits you, the sight hits you. I don't know. Is there not a better way, or can we find somewhere else that we can dispose of refuse? Like in the heart of Lagos, it's just an eyesore. And the thing is, the smell over there it also affects most surrounding areas. I'm talking K2, I'm talking mile 12. I'm not sure of which, we see many, many situations. Oh, negligence, clinical, clinical, da da da. It's getting out of hand. And here's the thing: people thought because this time it was Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie that maybe it would be better. Maybe we'll finally find justice, but there hasn't been justice for this woman and her family. I don't know. We'll get into it on her lens this morning. So yeah, that's another reason for you to join her lens this morning at 9:05. Tinubu moves to resolve worry delineation disputes, meets Ijo Urobo, Ishekiri leaders. Moving on to the Daily Trust, we have gunmen abduct Ondo traditional ruler, shoot wife in palace attack. My God. Five killed as cholera spreads to Plateau State. In the Vanguard newspaper, we have bullets before ballots. Insecurity threatens 2027 polls. 5,272 killed in 5 months. Food industry on brink as rising costs, forex crisis trigger mass layoffs. Oh my. In the past times, we have one killed as insurgents attack Chibok again, burn school block. What are we going to say about this again? Toxic gas leaks threaten Toxic gas leaks threatens livelihoods in Rivers community. Rivers said the same plenty things. This, like, I think it was the time where it was black suit or something. Yeah. In the Nation newspaper, we have Dia and I didn't know where Abiola was held, says Abdul Salami. 26 candidates, 8 parties battle for Saturday's legislative seats. Moving on to the cable newspaper, we have Oshomole. Edo State was safer when I was governor as than Anambra under Obi. Okay. IMF advises Nigeria to charge VAT on petroleum products, excise duty on telecom services. They should charge VAT. IMF, if you don't go and take several seats, like actually go and take several seats. In the Daily Post, pregnant women, 6 children die in Benue boat tragedy. Four vehicles, properties worth millions of naira raised as fire ravages mechanic workshop. Mechanic workshop, residential building in Oyo State. In the Tribune newspaper, we have Kogi NUJ threatens legal action against NSCDC over detention of journalists. Also on the Tribune newspaper, we have bloodbath in Kebbi community as Lakurawa kills 20 villagers. I don't even know what is going on. So much death, so much carnage, so much blood. Finally, today, Pen Pushing newspaper Falana's appearance at rally against insecurity in Nigeria energizes supporters. Ogun State government cancels proposed elaborate June 12th anniversary. AJB. Okay, those are the headlines that you have this morning. We have this morning. You want to do well to get you a copy, but right now we shall be sliding right into tackling the ones that caught our eye with our analyst this morning, none other than Emmanuel Olonade. Good morning, Emmanuel. How are you?
Good morning for me. Good to see you, and trust you had a restful weekend. And by the way, you look quite different. I think first time in a long while.
What did you
Can you
say?
maybe? I said by the way you look different. First time in a long time. You are using something you don't usually use. So I think that's good.
Yeah, yeah. If you know what you want to know what Emmanuel's talking about, go on YouTube at WFM 917. We are live to go see what Emmanuel's talking about. At least if you won't come on normally to watch us, go because Emmanuel just said something. Oh, weekend.
Well, it was quite a good one, a restful one, and a bit of activities field. But as you know, man must move and man must keep moving. But in all, a good weekend.
Oh, good for you, good for you, good for you. How was your democracy day?
Well, if you said Democracy Day, I definitely will ask the question: are we in a democratic setting? Democracy is not the absence of military rule, but democracy is the presence of human rights, presence of protection for the citizens, presence of access to basic things that make life easy, presence of good governance. So we equate democracy to what was it called? The absence of military rule. But in the true essence, if you look at the definition of democracy, a government, and then it goes on to say for, by, to. So you ask yourself, we celebrate Democracy Day, but the truth is, do we have a government for the people? Do we have a government by the people? And do we have a government of the people? So if these answers are yes, then I say happy Democracy Day to all of us. But if the answer in your mind, in your gospel mind, is no, then why are we celebrating Democracy Day? We equate it to taking over the government from the military. But what has changed? Civil rights, is it in place? Freedom of speech, to criticize and not criticize. I can mention some people who have been picked up, who are even journalists, speaking against the government, and some are even complaining that it was not this bad under military rule. So you ask yourself, we don't have military rule, we have civilian rule. That's why both are rule, military, civilian. But even what people don't know is that under military self, the government can be for the people, to the people, and by the people. But because of the dictatorial means of military regime and because of the way they are regimented, we don't call them civilian or democratic rule because they come by decree, not by act, not by constitution, by decree. But now that we have the constitution, we have the act that we can use to amend and do all of the things. The basic truth is, where do we stand? Is it really democracy? Is the government that we've had in the last 27 years, is it government to the people? Is it government by the people? And is it government for the people? I don't want to break it down far because Nigerians, all of us are at fault in the kind of democracy we have. Because you look at the last election results, 8 million votes was what brought Bola Ahmed Tinubu in. That is less than half of the total voters. And the total voters that came out were far less than half of the total registered voters. And total registered voters are far less than half of the total population of the country. So can you see that the government that we've been putting in place in Nigeria is not a reflective of the total population of Nigeria? And why is it not a reflective of the total population of Nigeria? Is because most Nigeria would rather sit down idle, complain, and not do the right thing. So we are all involved. We are all culpable in having this kind of democracy that we've had. So if the answer, as I've said, is yes, that the government is to the people, by the people, and for the people, then I say happy democracy day to you. And if the answer is no, then you can wish yourself whatever we have. But for me, I didn't celebrate any democracy day.
A simple question that I asked, though, Emmanuel came with a gun. Okay, speaking of Democracy Day, on Friday, there were some protests in different areas in Abuja and in Lagos. One of them, renowned human rights activist Femi Falana, at the June 12 rally. Um, you know, quite a few supporters were there who were gathered in protest against, what's been going on in the country, insecurity in Oyo State, Zamfara State, Kebbi State, the constant abductions that we've been seeing in the country. And what I found interesting is that while they went there to protest, there were counter protesters as well who were at the same venue, and they had to be police intervention. And I was like, what what made me pause was, we had the Falana led demonstration. We also had another group calling itself Team Nigeria. And I was like, if we cannot even unite on something as basic as this, where's the hope? Of course, we see this happen time and time and time and time again in Nigeria, where unity is not our strongest point. It's not even our, it's not anything. We don't, it's not a strength of ours. I think I don't even know how to qualify unity when it comes to Nigerians. I think maybe we unite on things like maybe football. We unite on things like, I don't know what else we do, but I think football is the major thing that I've seen that we unite on. But when it comes to how we get the country from point A to point F, we are not united. So there were protests. What do you mean you are Team Nigeria? What, like, some people have come to protest against, the rate of insecurity, and you went there with loud music and chants. What is there to celebrate, considering like what is going on in the country? So Emmanuel, I want you to weigh in on that, because this threw me off. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, huh? And I don't know if you got the chance to either listen, watch, or read the president's speech on Friday. We did. I did, and I read some excerpts. I was like, okay, and I'm waiting for the ball to drop, and it didn't drop. But yeah, Emmanuel, what are your thoughts on this?
When you are in shackles, you can either break free or dance to the tune of those who bound you in shackles. When the slave master picks up a slave and puts him or her in shackles, the slave goes anywhere the slave master wants it to go. That's the situation of some people in Nigeria. Their poverty is not physical poverty, but a state of the mind for them. That is why, for as little as 5,000, it is very easy for you to mobilize protesters. Do you know in this country we have protesters mobilizer? Just tell them the number of people you want and you pay them. They don't even know the reason they are protesting, but they know that their daily bread is coming in. Like we say in the Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. But I think their own trespasses is not being forgiven because they know not the reason why they hit the streets to protest. But let me go back to your main question, saying Falana. I think at this point, we should be ashamed of ourselves. When someone like Femi Falana, SAN, hits the streets to protest, for what? Is it for his own future? No. Falana, I've known Falana since my primary school days, and he has been protesting even right before I was born. And he's still protesting up to today. And do you know why I say he should not be protesting? Because see, if those who own the future cannot stand up to demand a better future for themselves, then those who have been standing up to demand a better future for years and are now getting old, I think what they should be looking at is finding a way to just retire in peace. But some of them, like Falana, for the love of the country and for the future that they hope for that Nigeria will have, they still hit the streets. But where do you find those who are mostly affected by this unemployment? Where do you find those who are mostly affected by the situation of Nigeria? They are at home. They are keypad warriors on socials complaining while doing nothing. So when you see the protests happen in pockets, the Ratel own that happened in Abuja, that is happening in Abuja, the one that happened in Lagos for Democracy Day, I just say it's an eyesore because see, governments are now used to protest, and after 3 or 4 days, if we decide to continue, they will send a warning that they've received security reports that the protest might be hijacked. And the truth is, they will tell you the security report, but they cannot stop the hijackers. That is the same way they cannot stop the terrorists or the bandits from doing things they ought to do. Because when you receive a security report, your job is to find out who the hijackers are and pick them up before they hijack anything. But as I always say, it is just a template. So see, the truth about it is, Falana and co went out to protest. It's not even a protest, for a rally. And I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal that we should be putting up there in the news. But because we fail to report what has really happened, or we fail to question the statements made by those in power, we look for all these flimsy things to give Nigerians hope, but we know in the real sense that this is not hope. Because you look at the protest, what do they seek to achieve? End insecurity. They won't be the first. Bring back our girls. How many girls did we bring back? End bad governance. Bad governance became worse. No to police brutality. End SARS. SARS was ended. Brutality was not ended by the security agencies. So you keep looking at the trend of this protest. I think since we return to civilian rule, I don't want to say democratic settings, protest has not been a correct ways to actually influence government. Maybe it was able to influence Goodluck Jonathan a bit because of his, but since then I've never seen our protest influence government decision. They protest this bill, don't do this. The women have been protesting, what is it called, for a while. The special seats bill, have they gotten it? It was stepped down the other day that they went to the house. So you look at it, I think Nigerian politicians, they've cracked the code, as developers will say, to on how to solve protest. And when you see that, when they see that it's gaining momentum, they just hire and bring people in, and then you ask them, why are you protesting? They don't even know. That is the irony of where we are. So for me, protest was a form of holding government accountable and twisting government to get your demands. But I don't think that works in Nigeria, because now you just protest, someone will come out and give you speech. The other day we protested, then you see everybody free the children in Oyo. This should be day 29 or something, and they are being held in captive We've not freed them. Where are the protesters now? Except for those that are still marching in Abuja and in pockets of spaces. Everybody had moved on. 49 add to about 130, 140 that was picked up in Woro area of Kwara State about 3 months ago, about 159 days, 150 days now. What has happened? Don't add to the number of children also that was picked up in Borno about the same time they picked up students in the local government in Oyo. So you look at it, we shout, we protest 1 or 2 days, we move on. But the truth is, shackles are being put on our legs and we are being dragged to and fro by the masters who have put the shackles on us. And what are the shackles? Poverty, lack of education. We lack basic access to information. See, the power of media has been understood by these political gladiators and they made good use of it. Go into a bus. The average bus driver or the average Nigerian man is listening to what is being said on radio, what is reading in the newspaper, or what he watches on TV to make a judgment. And this is where I'll put it. This is where he makes his assumption and his conclusions from. So whatever you say is what he knows. So if you don't talk about the insecurity, he doesn't know. If you don't talk about state of economy, he doesn't know. And what do? We don't talk about this. I've had qualms and quarrels with media for a while, and I still do because I still watched one who ought to be a veteran yesterday, and the guest was spilling lies, and he can't even debunk. He was just there giggling and I asked, why do we call you senior colleague in the industry when you cannot even do the basic of fact checking your guest who came to spill lie, and then you're just there? So this situation of things we find ourselves. So an average Nigeria is not informed because information is being controlled. And the media is not really living up to its expectation as the fourth estate of the realm. So it's a whole lot. So we can't say Falana and the children are protesting. Falana and children are protesting. At what age should he be protesting? He has protested all his life from its youth days, giving birth to his children, continue. His child is protesting with him. And yet his child is not even in the shackles that we are because his child has made a life for himself. But yes, those who are in shackles are the ones that will come being tossed to and fro by the shackle master. They are the ones that will come and then be cantering, and they don't even know what to eat after spending the stipends given to them for the protest. They don't even know where they will be next. They don't even know whether they will fall a victim of the insecurity. So it is a crazy world that we live in. And that is why at this point you need to look at the life of an average Nigeria and just shake your head and pity, because some are even okay with the tax master. As long as bread that falls from the table gets to their mouth, they are okay. They don't demand more. And can you hear me for me?
Yes, we lost the network a little bit. Yes, I can.
Okay, so that's just it. Basically, we should be saying at this rate, when youth are the ones that ought to eat the street, but youth will either eat the street for say Baba or say one politician who cares not about them, but about the seat he occupies and how to preserve it for his children and his unborn children to take over and continue the leadership. Just like pharaohs are replaced, they want to be replaced and then keep the children of Israel suffering. Well, maybe a Moses will rise, but each and every one of us can be the Moses that leads ourselves out of the bondage that we find ourselves.
Well said, well said. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. This is still Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women. Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. The time is 5 minutes to 8. And you've been listening to the voice of our analyst this morning, Emmanuel Olonade, on the Daily News Review. All right, the phone lines are now open: 07917 0800 1235 917. I can see the messages are already dropping, but should you, in case you want to drop and you don't have a number, 08155 917 917 or 0703 1756 537. All right, let's get into the next one this morning. This one is from the cable newspaper. Ogun residents lost 35 million properties to road expansion. 9 years later, project remains uncompleted. Now, the picture in this article is, this is not even as bad as you would think, but it's bad. I remember the first time they wanted to start demolishments demolition in Alagbore area. That was maybe 2012, 2013, 2014. I'm not sure what year that was. Memory is very, very hazy. And now, if you live in the beggar axis, there is a bridge that links. They say sometimes it's Ogun State, sometimes Lagos State. They share a bridge. It's called the Alagbole Bridge. I remember when the houses in that area were demolished. I remember I wasn't even living in Ojuju. I happened to have a baby sister who was going to one of the schools in Akute. So I used to go there a lot. And now I live in Ojodu, and I can tell you for free that yes, the bridge has been done good, but underneath the bridge, and I think decide leaving Alagbole to come into maybe Yakoyo, Ojodu, that road hasn't been done for a very long time. And it's just so mind-boggling how many roads have been left, uncompleted. If you're familiar with Agege Ikpaja axis. I'm familiar. I pass there a lot, but I don't. Is it Old Ikpaja Road? Yes, Old Ikpaja Road. If you're familiar with that road as well, what you have is not a road. What you have are, what are those stones? Those stones that are put on on the road.
Granite.
Granite, thank you. So it's granite, those small, small granites that are there. The road isn't smooth. And it's been like that for a while. I can say this for free because my friends live in that axis. So whenever I go, and I've been going there for a while, same thing. 2 weeks ago, I think I was going toward Egbeda. Oh, was it Ikotun? Yeah. So I passed Agege still. And there are big holes on the road because of the rains. Now, these ones you can say, oh, that's because of the rain. I'm giving you different areas so that you can understand how bad our roads are. Now, this road, 9 years later, number one, they promised that they were going to give them back their money. They didn't. Number two, the roads are still uncompleted. And you have people who are elderly amongst them who probably had, that's their family house, and yet nothing. Emmanuel, what is going on? There's a road as well. If you're going to the east, Abba, is it Abba Kaduna? The name of that road skips me.
East West Road.
East West Road. The road. Oh my god! Oh my lord! It is so bad. I was watching snippets of the late Alex Ekubo's service of songs, and Pastor Eno Jerry was saying that she came on behalf of Alex Oti, and they promised that they're going to do the roads that are leading to the Abia State for the funeral, which is happening this week. And I was like, did we have to wait for this to happen? What you see now is, I was going to say I stand to be corrected, but no, I don't stand to be corrected. What we see now is roads. The phase one and phase two of the roads will be done, and then they leave us until it's time for election. They now come and do phase three and phase four, or to complete it, or even to start all over again. And what you now see is the roads that were done in the first instance, the materials used to build those roads were mediocre, very, very low quality. So when the rains come, we're back to square one. And I can give you a list of different roads where I have seen this happen. Emmanuel,
For me,
9 years later,
I'm actually sorry to disappoint you, but I think I'll just spend like a minute on this topic because I'm not really, really, really
they're not in the
interested.
mood.
And no, it's not being in the mood. I feel like I can make better use of my time than talking about the failures of government and those who have encouraged the failures of government. You mentioned those areas. The houses were demolished for expansion of the road.
Mhm,
One lane was done, the other lane was not done.
mhm,
And I think the lane that wasn't done is not even up to, I think, is it up to a kilometer or 1.5
mm-mm,
kilometer?
mm-mm.
It's not up to a kilometer. And the special advisor to the governor said, no, the record they have shows that the last administration of Ibikule Amosu paid them before it. So go and look at the election results in those areas. Ask them who they vote for. If they vote for Dapo Abiodun, they should go and get their money from him and go and sort it out with him. I'm not going to be in the mood with them to be dragging. When I know that I speak, I drag for them. I call government officials accountable and then next thing is they will still go back to
Oh
go
my
and vote for
gosh.
innocent. No, I should be frank with you. I can't be sitting down here, or we can't. We have to do our job. I know, but we can't sit down and then we canvass, we speak for people. And the
Mm.
people we are speaking for are still running after those we are telling that they need to do the right thing for them. We all know that for successive governments, there has not been continuity with Ogun State project from Oshoba to Benga Daniels to Ibikunle Amoso.
Okay.
They were all friends, but each attaining the position decided to fight one another, and there has not been succession. Look at most of the go to, especially if for local government that I'm a bit aware of, most of the roads are mega projects, mega road project that Abiodun Amosun started up. Abiodun left it, picked up his own project, and that is the problem. When you don't have continuity in government, this
Yeah.
happens. But for those who live in the area, I'm so sorry, and I apologize to you this morning that I'm not going to be dwelling on that government. Just follow the advice of the SA media, senior special advisor media to the government. I said, visit the Ministry of Urban and Regional Planning and make your complaint. Because no matter what we do, no matter what we say, some of them are even politicians who are close to this guy. So I don't want to get involved in all this. But I just want to say that Ogun State has not been blessed with roads. We know that. And it's not a new thing. They demolished the house, they failed to pay compensation. 9 years going, I think it's going to be hard to get that back.
Yeah. Two questions I have for you. And this is a question that was like a recurring theme last week. The first one is, what is it that I know you always talk about educational poverty, but what is it with Nigerians and voting for their slave masters? Like what, like is there something in the air? Is there something that we're not aware of? I'm very, very, confused about it because I'm like, this thing seems like a no-brainer, right? Why would you still go ahead to vote for people who promised you that they were going to do A, but then they ended up doing B? So you saw them do B, then I came back and said, "Oh no, give us another chance. We'll do the A that we said we were going to do." They didn't do the A, they did C this time around, and then another cycle again. What exactly is there something else there? Because it was a question I asked last week as well. I was like, it doesn't make sense to me. That's number one question. Number two is one that I've always wondered about, and you mentioned it, the lack of continuity from one government to the other. Like, shouldn't I suppose that Lagos State might say that they are a bit different because we've been seeing succession of some sort from one administration to the other. But why is there such a lack of continuity, even from top to bottom? Why? So those are my two questions. Yeah.
Take the issue of Nigeria and political gladiators as issue of a man wooing a woman. A man who cannot afford holidays in Bahamas will promise a woman at the face of rain holiday in Bahamas. If he's going to borrow money to go to Bahamas with the lady, he's going to do that. But once he gets what he wants, the lady has lesser value to him again. Even ordinary Olumorok, the lady will not see. Ordinary beach in Lagos, the lady will not see. So when it comes to Nigerian politicians, they've cracked this code. Promise and give them stuff during election. That's why it's during election, you see them giving out cars, campaign cars. It's during election, you see them being friendly, you having access. It's during election, you see for those who have placed their destiny every 4 years on noodles and rice, you see them getting their noodles and rice. For those who place their destiny for the next 4 years on t-shirt, they get their t-shirt, some 5,000, 10,000, they get it. So I cannot invest all that money in you running into billions. Where will I get it back from? Some are loans. That's why you see if a politician loses election, some of them they have IBP. Some are loans. Some sold a lot of poverty. Some liquidate business just to do that. So when they get in, then they have to start the right thing. And what is the right thing they start when they get in? They have to find a way to recoup their money. That is why you see that a politician will promise you to build a bridge where there is no river. A politician will tell you he wants to make a way in the wilderness. But even the community where there is no way is not eager to build a way. It's telling them wilderness and then we shout. Have you gone to political campaigns? How many political campaigns have we made? Have we seen them making promises? It's just dance, cross, vibe, and inshallah, and then we clap, shout party slogan, abuse one another, and go. I want to dance. They play music. It goes home. No promise, nothing. A president candidate comes to the Southwest, you are not asking him what he's going to do for the Southwest. No, he's just here to dance. A governorship candidate comes to the local government, you are not asking him. So you can't hold them accountable because you've never for once asked them and they've never for once promised you anything. The only thing they promised you is their party slogan from APC to PDP to ADC to NDC. That's the only thing they shout and then take their vote. And the way it now works is, see, most of them, except those that have the fear of God, understand the fact that good governance is a luxury to you. You see road, you are doing radio advert to thank the governor, when it's not that the governor removed money from his own pocket or his family pocket to do the road. Is it not the tax you paid? You see schools, you are doing video print advert to thank the governor. For what? Did they take it out of their pockets? That's why a governor will be comfortable to be commissioning 4 kilometers of road in a sane society. So it is quite crazy we find ourselves in this, and that's why politicians will keep making good use of this, because they understand how to woo a woman. And when you are done wooing and the woman does not bring value on board, there are ladies you woo and then the value they bring on board, you have to up your game and be at par with them so that you guys can work together. But there are some you woo, there's no value in them. So by the time the guy gets what he wants, they see nothing. He moves on and they keep complaining. No, it's a cheat. It was never a cheat. The signs were written. You didn't pick up the signs because he wooed you. That's what politicians do. This is the time you see politicians in angels' body. But from May 29 next year, you see them go back to their own body.
Yeah.
So this is the situation of things. And this is what keeps happening every 4 years. It's not that, it's the fact that for them, they have proper understanding of the tools to manipulate, to get what they want out of the
Results
citizens.
they want.
Why the citizens does not understand the power they wield to get the best out of those who they've elected to lead them. So they make use of these tools to ensure that they get what they want, while the citizens fight themselves. That is where you see religious division, you see ethnic division, you see people questioning the competence of those who are competent, spilling propaganda. And because an average Nigerian does not read, does not know, he follows the propaganda, which is crazy. And then you spread propaganda, and then you leave competent leaders out based on the propaganda that was spread, and then you follow those who will take you deep into the wilderness, into the desert, and leave you to die of thirst. That's the situation of things we have in Nigeria. So when you see someone that wants to do good, is an enemy of the state and of the people. But when you see someone that wants to do bad, is a friend of the citizens, because we've conditioned ourselves to see good leadership as a luxury and as a dream that cannot be realized. And because most of us wants to eat from the crumb that fell from the table, we know if a good leader comes in, there might be no crumb at all. And then all of us will starve. And then someone that ought to award a project that costs 500 million originally for 10 billion, if you see a good leader, you might say, go and find those that even do it for 400 million. And then that leaves our table. That is why. Go and look at those who are interested in election. They are business people, businessmen. They are always interested because they want to protect their own estate. They understand that fact. So just look at it that way, and that's the situation we find ourselves. Have I answered the two questions?
Wow. Okay, let's take these messages. We have this one. Olushagajayi says, we live in a country where bandits pick citizens like grasshoppers and hold them in a bottle. School children are taken by bandits. A retired general and his wife were taken into captivity and treated like prisoners of war by ransom seeking street urchins, and the military doesn't feel the shame. Who knows whose turn it will be tomorrow? This country needs a transformative government of national unity. Thank you so much for your message. Additional Wasiu says, Good morning to you in the studio on Insecurity. I think this is the right time for Mr. President to declare total security emergency in Nigeria because different people have been killed in this country. Sorry, I can't see what I'm reading. Okay, because most especially ordinary civilians, people's bodies littered in different bushes across the country for you to have experience. It's when you have family that has been kidnapped before that you can have first hand information about these terrorists, so-called bandits. There must not be anything like repentance, Boko Haram or bandits. These are more. This is murder. The people these people have killed people in the past. Please send them to their creator and let them repent in their grave or with their creator. If we continue this matter, I don't think I don't think this kidnapping will stop. He also calls upon the president to decentralize every security apparatus of this country. Do not limit it to the police force alone. Please decentralize everything that can be decentralized so that the central can be less attractive. Thank you so much for your message. Bola that says, good morning, crew. For the insecurity in the land, your president and security chiefs are complicit. When your CDS, Matawale, Ibadu Gumi said they are prodigal children, brothers, and they are cohabiting them with billions, are they not complicit? All for election gains. Under your president, Nigeria has turned into gangster paradise. Case study the killing of the maths teacher and adoption of children in the state, in Oyo State. Other insecurity in the land, 2,500 policemen were used to protect Sheyi at Ojude Oba Festival, but none to protect the common man. Bandits will attack for hours, no police or army to protect you. But if you protest against the government, they will send police, army, and agueros to arrest and harass and intimidate you. You have become economic casualty, turning people to beggars and almajiri in the midst of plenty. He has opened the floodgates of corruption, which is why you have corrupt above the law people around him. Like they say, birds of the same feather flock together. That is why we're in this nightmare. It's a shame the worst of us is ruling the best of us. There was a country. That's Lekon from Lagos, not even Additional Wasu. Additional Wasu said, okay, I have read Additional Wasu. Lastly, we have from Evangelist Shegun Oyedeji who says, whatever our lots, we are alive by his grace. Fumi Emmanuel. Land limes were laid when the present constitution was composed by a clique of tribal military officers to enslave a part of the country to the advantage of another.
Because I had to move back to class. I'm just coming out. When I've been listening to you and all you were saying, I believe that one thing you used to say, you have to hold on to. You said we are carbon copy of our leaders. Another thing, say you are not expecting anything from any government. Let you contribute money to start a business. You know that 27 million will contributed. These people that are complaining, the money went underground. You know, sometimes when I look at certain things, if you are dealing with Nigerians on daily basis, is it mechanic? Is it bricklayer? Is it those people working? Is it this? I just don't know what. Because I have already told you, I say I prefer to be different in anything and know that pretty well. If you can do something and get away in Nigeria, but you cannot get away from God. What is the percentage of the leaders? Those people that are there now, can you remember that one protesting and James already before? But now they are there as a leader. Why can't they do things differently? So some of us that are complaining today, if we get there, they are going to work. Guys, I'm not worried. I don't want anything. Okay, we should learn to do what is right. We are doing the wrong thing, brain. The better Nigeria we expect it will start from us. Anywhere I am, anywhere you are. I told you I retire to access my money. I can't just. Those young boys there, because they say bring that. Some of us are there, we left our money for them. And they're happy. They enjoy my money. And those who say come back and tell me, they will be enough good. I like this state police they are trying to. Let them think so that state the whole responsible for their security of the look at what the Obafani said. They are the chief security of their business. So they will not need to say they come from Abuja. And anyone that not do well, The classes of look at one message in River State. Before you people will say, yes, if the Kabajan knows that 30 minutes, all this nonsense is not there. If you do nonsense, you get nonsense. So nobody do nonsense. I think Nigeria will need that anywhere. If we don't set example, look at the massacre, people that they condemn, I they see them. I can remember if you need to a lawyer, you know, one of my friends, Barry Ryan, he is one of us that used to condemn before. But in his own state, one day just sit down and say, in my case, he decided to go to his state and change things in Abia and look at how we see. So anywhere, some of us don't even know our local government. And that they go out to the state for money and they give us money to come back to start blaming them. God is watching us. Nigeria was not like this. So I see how to be this country that Nigeria is great again. Let us keep on doing the right thing. God bless you. God bless you. Emmanuel, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Zixon, for your contribution to the conversation this morning. Lastly, it is 18 minutes past 8, and you're still tuned to Women Radio 91.7 FM. This is the Daily News Review with our analyst, Emmanuel Olononda, this morning. Daily Trust. Emmanuel, what are we going to do about bandits and kidnapping and abductions? Because every day we wake up and see different headlines, new headlines about banditry and terrorism in Nigeria. And I'm so tired. This one, bandits bar Sokoto residents from farm, impose fresh levies. The audacity of them. But then, like I always would say, can we really blame them if even this country that we're in, they know that the president, the government, the administration, nobody's going to do anything? But what's the solution, Emmanuel?
The solution is wipe them out. Don't negotiate with them. Because what we are having is them forming a parallel government. Because it's only a government that can demand tax and levies from you. But what we are having is a parallel government. But that's the situation of most local government, and it has been there. See, the conversation you guys are just picking up in the southwestern part of the country, because it's now affecting you guys, has been existing in a particular
Very
place
true.
for a while. It has become a daily living, daily occurrence for them. And now that it's getting here, that's when you are showing interest. When we're shouting, you guys didn't show interest. You felt like it was propaganda, we're against the government. But that's the situation of things. They have to pay that this is the wet season, the planting season. Then when it comes to harvest again, they might demand another levy from them. And if they don't pay, don't forget the rice farmers that were beheaded years ago. Based on the fact that they asked them not to go to the farm, they have to pay before harvest, and they went and they beheaded them on the farm. So that is the situation of things. And it's getting to the doorstep. We're having crazy things in Oyo over the weekend. This Kishi, Igbo, Shaki Road. That same Oyo National Park that moves from Orire, moves through the as so we are going to Kishi, Shaki, Igbo, you have to pass through the Oyo National Park. There's a road that passes through the National Park. We had like attack that I think one person was killed or 2 people were killed over the weekend. Do you know how many villages in a fellow doing a report local government area of Kwara State, Ekiti local government area of Kwara State, are now left with no people, ghost town? They become ghost towns because people ran away after they were kidnapped. Everybody left the village, ran away. Do you know what that means? And if you don't know, if you've not seen it, you won't know the gravity of what is happening. I'm just trying to paint a picture so that people who are close in this part can understand the gravity of things like that. Do you know the kidnap attempt that almost happened in Kogi State? That they killed the vice principal, a 6-year-old boy and another. It's getting to the doorsteps, and we keep talking about it. They keep saying, "Oh, no, because we eat crumbs from their table." Look at where we are now. So you now see why you keep having inflation of food prices. Because what you don't know is that, see, insecurity also affects the economy. Insecurity affects food security. So when there's insecurity, there's no guarantee that you're going to have food security. And when there's no food security, there is going to be high inflation on food, which also trickle down to the economy. When farmers can't farm, they plant, they can't harvest, or they harvest, they are leaving a part of their harvest for these men of the underworld. What do you think will happen? See, we are playing with a ticking time bomb, and we are using religious ethnic sentiment to whitewash ourselves. That's why I say, see, all Nigerians must unite. It was not after the Orire adoption that I saw a bit of unity from Nigerians on insecurity, because it's getting to our doorsteps. Communities being evacuated. Kabiyesi now, they are without crown in some towns because they've ran away. Nobody to govern. Now, person wey dey alive, they call Kabiyesi. So you look at all these things. So it is not only peculiar, see, but I'm praying and I'm hoping that we take action and we don't get to the situation where they are experiencing in Sokoto and some part of the northeastern part of the country, where there is foothold and you have to pay because there's nowhere to go. You have to pay levy because almost all the communities you can run to are also being affected. It is crazy, but that's the reality. Do you want us to count the number of people in captivity? Earlier on, I mentioned the Woro Town in Kwara, about 130. The Orire, the school boys in Bonn, the school children in Bonn are also picked, plus others that have been picked commuting or leaving their house or their villages and they've been picked and packed. This is not the area to play politics. If there was one thing I picked from Jonathan's government, it's his ability to leave politics aside and quickly deal decisively. And that was what gave us the rise of having 2 elections in all local government area of Nigeria in 2015. Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to deal decisively with these people. And I can't be a president and the minister of mine will say, or somebody will say, they are my put the gas on. All of you will come put the gas on because you can't part of my government. Thank you for me.
It's been a very, very, I don't even know, should I call it heavy? No, not heavy. Like there's been more questions and food for thought as opposed to, we're just going with vibes. And these questions that Emmanuel has asked us today are very, very salient. From the first one, I think that as we go about, ask yourself questions. Where do I want to see my life economically 4 years from now? Where do I want to see Nigeria 4 years from now? Before you decide to trade your birthright, so to speak, or your portion, is it portion of the king's meat? Yeah. With anything that's been offered, please ask yourself questions so that Emmanuel already said it was only good spend. Well, let's not be that you will trade it and then when it's 4 years from now, you say, oh, I can Emmanuel just be like, well, you voted for these people. Anything your eye see, make your eye collect. Emmanuel, thank you so much for I one thing I've been noticing with you is you are now, how do I say this? You're like, look, there's no time for rubbish anymore. If you do the crime, you do the time, kind of thing. That's what I that's what I've been noticing with your analysis these days. Like, well, I'm not babying anybody because babying people is how we have gotten to this point. But thank you so much, Emmanuel, for coming on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
Catch you next week on another edition of the Daily News Review. And for the rest of us, 9 o'clock is the news, 9:05 is her lens. Don't go anywhere. Bye for now.